Ralph Aiken at the log cabin on the Clinton farm. Window, doorway. Well, if it's up a cool roadside, Ellen can tell you more about the actual. Now that's a stone. Let's see about that chimney. Well, it says here 1935. This is one of the later family members or something to do with it right there. That chimney was put in 1930. Corrugated metal roof of the late 30s, early 40s, prior to the war. It's too thick to have not been. I lived in a home that had that.
All right.
In Forest Park, and they had a roofing that was put on in 1933. Okay. Hand-formed rock with clay. Been washed off, but this was originally covered with a white clay, which, not the sand type, but the clay that they used to make dishes out of. These stones were shaped and put together by a good stone man, stonemason. You can tell that by the way they're formulated and cut. These were hand formed by a rock mason to fit. Then this clay was actually put over more as an insulator and like this. So this is not a limestone base. If you will look at it, you will see that it's more of a clay. And
I found their water source at the street creek.
Well, then what happens is that might be,
right,
see, the creek may have altered over there, whether it was running over here.
Well, there's a spring bubbling up over here.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's what we were looking for over there at Miss Annie's, that cabin on the other. They said that they used a spring.
No,
so this is closer. Huh?
No, that's for the main old one. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, well, they said with the older house there was a spring within a distance of it that they used. So this might have been reconstructed. Some of this wood's over 100 years old. It's heart wood.
It's been electrified.
Yeah, there's a light bulb in there.
No, not now.
Socket that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to get that. Steps going upstairs.
Yep.
That is made to dry fruit on.
All right.
It was made and assembled like that with a handle. It probably had another 2x4 in that end out there. Out here, more or less, to sand it up or to move it. And they put their fruit on it and set it out in the sun. They put cheesecloth over it, fruit and another layer of cheesecloth to keep the bugs off of it. And they dehydrated their apples, their peaches, and whatever they were dehydrating to put in.
All right.
Which mainly was fruits.
Yeah. We'll zoom in on the
That
hill.
was partially for the storing or something to that effect too. Could give you several levels. Those were cut in there like that so that they could put for shelving.
So they had
you
shelves,
notice
you think?
right here that are to hang items. This was more or less a breezeway or wherever.
Yeah.
And these, and in some cases, these were used for bedsteads and taken down afterward. So they would put a round rod in here, round rod in here, round rod in here, and planking over the top.
Yeah, then the head
And
shelving,
this
you
would be a
think?
bedroom.
Oh, really?
Yes. So you see that right there is low, but different.
Yeah.
And see, that's the way that they put for storing or hanging items. They just took a wooden peg or something and put it in these holes. So they're only to a certain depth, just to push something in to hold, to suspend something or hold it or store it. Could have been the store, these right here could have been some of their storage areas out of the weather, different tools that they used. This was, judging by the rafters and the beaming and everything, this was in the original house.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
This is, this right here, if you want to show it, is some of the earlier porcelain pots that they brought in to cook.
All right.
That is a metal but porcelain coated pot right there. I thought had it been a little bit larger, we would have, and the handles differently, it could have been a slot. Yes. But see, in the 40s and the 50s, my grandfather and them, they came tongue and groove a lot of that to warm the house up. We lowered our ceilings. I always say that the ceiling originally was open like that. But this is an innovation. We did that in Forest Park. We lowered our ceiling and put tongue and groove, and that's what this is. This is tongue and groove pine done 30-ish, 40-ish to lower the ceiling and warm the house up to make fire.
I found out that the Carnes owned all of this land, all 400 acres, and the oldest daughter for John Thomas Carnes married Christopher Columbus Clinton. And when they got married, Papa gave them a section that they could build a log cabin on and stay here. He died in 1860. They had been married in 1856, I believe, or he was about that time. And they stayed here their entire married life and raised their children. They had Charles Marion, who was the father of what everybody knows, Miss Annie, who gave the land to the county. So it was a family compound, if you will, and they took care of, he had 9 children, at least, I believe 10, but 9 that I can name, and each of them got a section of this land. And the reason it's called Clinton land now instead of Carnes is he bought back from each heir over a course of 10 or 11 years. He would buy whatever land they wanted somewhere else and trade them just across the board for a section of this land.
Wow.
So in time, they owned all the original Carnes land. And I don't know, their parents, they were all primitive Baptists now, because the Clintons and the Carnes are buried over at New Hope in the edge of our county, just before you get into Villa Rica.
Yeah.
Where we cut our wood, there's the old well house, and still the water tastes good. At the top of the hillside, there's 2 crosses of stone, and they are the reason I see a beautiful home, a beautiful home. It's a beautiful where my heart is at ease, where my soul feels complete. Everyone's gone, but the lights are still on. It's a beautiful home.